All right.
And then everything else, like I did PC part picker, so I made sure that.
Got it. So you're
all
pretty sure
works
everything's
together.
fully compatible.
Yeah.
And you think your video card's fine?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's fine because we tested on my friend's computer and it worked.
So we're dealing with the original CPU also.
Yeah.
I noticed it's not plugged in, or the fan isn't plugged in.
Yeah, I kind of unplugged a lot of stuff because I tried plugging everything in to get to work.
Got it.
and
So
wasn't
you're kind of in
working,
a
so I was
throwing your hands up sort of
like,
mode.
Yeah.
All right, good. No oh, video card looks like it's kind of hanging there.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's hope we didn't damage this motherboard because that's a heavy video card,
Yeah.
and it's kind of not 90 degrees.
Yeah.
I can see that right at the back here.
Yeah.
So let's just be gentle about dealing with this. First thing I want to do is lay it down, but I'm going to take these off first. I'll just have you here, put this in your pocket. We'll get that screw later.
Okay.
That fell into a void. I'm learning that this disc is probably not the best because of the holes in it.
Yeah.
It's all right. So I'm just hoping that video card didn't do us more harm than anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't you put this glass in a safe place? Let's lay this down. Let's see what's up. Okay, let's hope that that video card didn't hurt anything. Okay, so everything's pretty much unplugged. Okay, so the video card is plugged in, but the CPU power is not. Are we working with the original power supply?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So let's see. Let's see. Not a big deal. Okay, we got our Molex connectors. Gotta get my bearings. There's your CPU wire here. And your CPU cooling. Which CPU is that?
i7, I believe.
R7. All right, so let's just get things going and we'll go from there. Which one is CPU? Okay, cool. It just says fan. It should be labeled fan. Okay, it's a simple motherboard. Some of these, you get all sorts of standoffs for fans.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure the one that's labeled CPU is the one on the CPU, so the BIOS doesn't give you any error messages even if everything's working properly. Okay, so now the motherboard's plugged in. Okay, now I think we need to figure out how to secure this video card. Okay,
Yeah.
so this video card's missing its faceplate, which is why it's not properly screwed down. There's normally, did you notice that it's missing?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so yeah, we just want to make sure. Did it break or did this card get dropped?
Because
it looks like it broke off. Right here.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Okay, well, I'm just hoping we didn't, one, damage the video card, and two, damage the, so here's what our problem is that this video card can't properly be seated. It's kind of doing a wheelie in there. It's not strictly, that could be part of our problem. Let's see here. How old is this motherboard originally?
This is the new one. So
Okay, I just see, anytime I see VGA on the motherboard, I just assume it's a few years old. So, because if you can imagine, I don't do enough volume to know exactly what models are out all the time.
Yeah.
So, let's just see, as it stands, we're going to have to figure something out for that video card. Because is it practical for you to use the machine in a laying down state? Or, because I don't think it's good to have this weight of the video card. I know they have kickstands. You could prop something like a kickstand underneath there.
Yeah.
Let's just see if we can get this thing to function. All right. Actually, I'm going to work without this stool. You can have this stool. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay, so let's get the video plugged in. See if this gives us what we need. Okay. And then also we're going to do All these USBs. Do the USBs up front, are they plugged in? Probably not.
I don't think so.
Got it. I'm not going to rely on those. The trick is to be a minimalist and only plug in what you know you need
Yeah.
and then work from there. Alrighty. Okay. Okay, so you're, oh, okay. Yeah, we need to tighten down your power supply. It's kind of flopping around. Not a huge deal. Do you know if the power cable's probably not plugged in, or the power button? That's fine.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, all right, cool. So it's one of these two of these 8 pins to turn it on. So I'm going to steal this and then hot wire it. And I'm going to figure out which 2 pins turns it on. Probably a JP. What is it here? You didn't bring the motherboard manual, did you?
No, I didn't.
Okay, because these pins are not labeled. That's what I was wondering.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so at this point we don't know what our status is. Do you know what model this is? Can we Google the pinout for this? What is it? The front panel? That's the front panel. I need to figure out which 2 pins. I need a light. That's what I really need. Let's see here. That just says front panel. Oh, found it. It is those 8. So it's it's 2 of these pins right here. How confident are you that that CPU is properly installed?
Oh, probably not that confident.
Okay, well, okay, we got no power on the motherboard. CPU power cable is plugged in. Do you know if, okay, that's one of those power supplies. I'm not finding any activity on the motherboard. And this is the only motherboard we have to work with right now?
Yeah.
You didn't bring, okay, cool. Just to know what's up. Okay, so we are not getting any power. Let's see here. You still have your original motherboard?
Yeah, I think it might actually be in the car.
Okay. That's why I'm trying to wonder if we know what happened on the original motherboard versus this one. All right, because if you're using the same CPU,
Yeah.
that could, if the CPU is bad or damaged, that could cause the board not to result in power. So,
I think it was the motherboard because it was like 9 years old or something.
but this is the exact duplicate model though?
No. I think
Oh,
it's a
okay.
different one. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of looks like an older one because it's got the VGA, you got the stock Intel chip, so I can't tell which chip that is. But at this point, oh, your CPU fan, oh, it is labeled. Let's see here. That's interesting, the CPU. What is this here? Okay. I'm just gonna unplug. It's
Yeah.
not totally belted down either. I'm lifting up on these SATA connections, and it is pretty much, yeah. Okay, so we don't know what the status is. You bought the CPU and the motherboard as like a bundle?
Just the motherboard. The CPU is the older one I had.
Got it. Okay, unfortunately, if we can't get this to power up at this point, it's not looking good for the motherboard. Although what I think I want to try is my own personal power supply. Since we're going to have to be total minimalist and find out. Because at this point I just have to assume I'm working with no working parts.
Yeah.
So we're just going to use my test bench here. This power supply here. Let's see what's up. Yeah, man. This motherboard. Let's see. This should do it. Let's just see if this. All right. Which of these two? Let's see if I can get these two to function. Okay, that's all the way plugged in. Got my video card. I mean, my power supply, your everything else. Now let's unplug this. Make sure that's all plugged in. Yes, that's not a mistake I could have made. Okay, we got power there. Okay. We're still not getting power. We know we at least have a working power supply.
It's kind of weird because when I was plugging everything in at my place, I put the power on and the front light did come on,
Yeah.
but
So no fan. You didn't see if any of the CPU fan was.
yeah, the fans weren't working.
Got it. So what I think I want to do is get your video card out of the way, since that is kind of a scary culprit. We don't know what the status is of that video card because it's been manhandled. All right, let's AMD Crossfire. Okay. So at this point, I don't know what CPU you have in there, but there's a chance that CPU will not let me. Here, why don't you hold on to your video card? Yeah, see that there should be a plate right there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and plug my HDMI here into your onboard graphics, even though there's a chance, even in perfect condition, your CPU won't necessarily have onboard graphics support. But at this point, I just want to get it to fire up. So what did I just do with that screwdriver? Just want to eliminate any potential problems. Okay, yeah, this has got to be the 7 pins that control the power. Let me see if I can, without the manual, see if this label here tells me exactly which 2 pins I have to go for. Power button is going to be, okay, let's try that. Nope. Okay, so we don't know what our status is. You Could have either a bad CPU or a bad motherboard. Let's see here. Once again, take this RAM out of here. Did you just put this motherboard in here?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, at this point I'm going to have to see that the CPU is installed properly.
Yeah.
Because if it's either damaged or not in properly, it'll keep the machine from working. So... Let's see if... Oh yeah, your CPU. Oh, it's one of these Intel. Come on. Yeah, I'm not sure that this... Okay, you got a lot of stuff on there. Okay, so... the arrow was pointed that way. Is that where this needs to be? You got... Let me make sure everything is good here. I think you got it correctly. It might have been in backwards. Let me check. Ah. You know what? I think it was in backwards. Is it? Let me check here. Was it? I can't see that. There's an arrow that's supposed to be on the plastic, but it's not obvious. It doesn't seem to want to... Got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of gunk. You use a little more thermal paste than should have been. Trying to figure out. Let me turn on the other light here. I'm going to need a little bit more light. That'll help a little bit. Let's see here. Which CPU is this?
I think it was the i7.
Which one?
Intel, I believe.
Well, yeah. All I series are Intel. I don't think you have the right CPU.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's not seated properly. It's not. It won't go in properly. Let me see here. Yeah, you don't have a list of hardware you purchased, do you?
My friend gave me this CPU, so
He gave you the CPU by itself?
yeah.
Do you have? Can you pull up exactly which motherboard this is?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna have to wipe off some of this gunk here. Let me see here, because I don't think it was in all properly. Yeah. I have to wipe off this gunk to find out what we're dealing with. You get a lot of good news about that is that yeah, we need to find out exactly what CPU this is. And I gotta find a safe place to put it. Let's see here. I need. Where are. Ah, here it is. Okay, yeah, let's find out what CPU he gave you. While I clean some of this off to figure out which CPU this is. You have several pins, several form factors. So we need to see what form factor this CPU is versus what you got. I'll have to see what motherboard that is. So at this point, we don't know if either the CPU and or the motherboard are bad, because we need both to work to test. Okay, so let's see what this is. Now that I got all that gunk off of there. It's a Core i7 4790K, which is the higher end chip. Vietnam. Yeah, we need to pull up the motherboard here. Which?
Yeah, it's the ASRock B365M.
Can we pull up the CPUs it supports?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Yeah, it just doesn't. I think let's not rely on Amazon.
Oh yeah, I'm going to
Okay.
PC part pickers.
Good.
They have the
Yeah.
compatible CPUs. And that was what was it? i7.
47. What is this? 4790K. Yeah, because you did not have. Yeah, there's no way this could have been in properly because it's not keyed properly. This motherboard's asking for a different CPU.
God damn it.
Well, I think we've all made that mistake at some point.
Yeah, I was helping because my friend was the one who gave me all the parts. He was
Right.
helping me build it. And
Well, let me see. You see how it's keyed? It's not a perfect square. Well,
Yeah.
those notches they fit here. And also, I don't see it on this particular motherboard, but there's a reason this arrow is here. Now it's all covered. You got a lot of that gold arrow there tells you what direction it goes. And I think you had the direction proper, but this is not the proper CPU for this. At this point, yeah. See, there's so much gunk here. Well, now we have to clean it off before we could even. Yeah, it's not going to work. Let me Let me wipe off my hands, and we'll figure out what CPU this motherboard wants.
Okay.
He gave you that CPU, so at least
Yeah.
you just he gave it to you, so we don't
Yeah.
actually have to. Got it. Okay. I don't see any bent pins here. The only detriment is though you had a boatload of thermal grease, more than
Yeah.
you should have had. That's why my hands are a mess. So at the very least, this will be an education for you.
Yeah.
A couple things I noticed about this case. Your motherboard was not properly all. You have stanchions on the bottom of the motherboard that pop up Well, there's not one right here. So if you have to push down on the RAM or anywhere over here, then you could potentially damage the motherboard that way.
Alright.
So like this stanchion here, it's not doing anything. It's just floating over here
Mhm.
because your motherboard's not that big. What you should do is take this off and put it underneath the motherboard.
Oh, okay.
So you can't make it bend like that.
Yeah.
Motherboards are actually fairly resilient, but obviously that's not good. You don't want to push harder. You don't want to bend anything apart. But I don't see any physical damage on the motherboard. I think you still have a chance with the proper CPU. So what we need to do is go online and figure out what CPU that takes. So let me, let's pull this up here. In fact, what I'm going to do now, since we know we don't have a workable CPU,
Would it be cheaper to get a different CPU or a
well, that's a good
different-
CPU. It might just be, it might be fine.
Yeah.
It'd probably be cheaper to get another motherboard
Mm-hmm.
to accommodate that CPU. The CPU is
Yeah.
worth more than the motherboard. Is
Yeah.
what I think you're asking, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay. And of course, everything else is probably all right. Let's just do some research. We'll go online, figure out. Okay, so this is my power supply. That's why it's right here. Okay, so, oh, and this is your RAM. I just wanted it out of my way. I'm going to put that back in so it's not misplaced. Okay, yeah. So, the only thing that's not physically installed is that CPU. Technically, you don't really want it in there at this point now that we're pretty confident that's the wrong CPU.
Yeah.
We don't want to damage both. So what we'll do is, let me turn that on. All right, so yes, I would. All right, so we are going to go online. And what motherboard is it? It's a,
Let me look.
well, we can look at the motherboard itself. Where is it? Let's see here. It's an ASRock. There it is. ASRock B365M. What is this? What is it? A B
365.
365M. CPU. All right. Do you know what generation that is?
I
So
think it's 7th.
that's okay. There we are. So it supports 9th and 8th.
Okay.
So the motherboard is actually a newer motherboard than what that CPU is.
Okay, yeah. My roommate told me that was he gave me the wrong name for the CPU, so
Got
that's
it.
why I looked up.
But at least you got your lesson here.
Yeah.
That CPU might still be good, although unfortunately they might have both damaged each other.
Yeah.
We won't know. So you're going to have to get the right CPU for that motherboard, or the right motherboard for this CPU.
Okay.
So I actually have the proper box for this for you to transport this in,
Yeah.
so we don't have to worry about damaging that more,
Mm.
and also so you don't damage the contacts here. You are going to want to. We did get a lot of goop on the underside, which is a bad thing.
Mm.
But as long as you clean it up, it should fire fine. Let's see here. So, bad news is it's not going to leave with a workable setup. But
Yeah.
good news is you now know what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, just try to not spend too much time outside with that CPU exposure.
Yeah.
The connector, I mean. And now I'm going to look for, there we go. Yeah, here. This is exactly what that is. That's to transport that CPU safely.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just go, so it closes. That's only one thing. This is that you got two different ones. You only need one. There we go. There. So that's the proper way to transport that. Well, that answers a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of your screws fell down here. You want to grab it? It's right there.
Yeah. Got it.
There we go. Oh, here's your. Also, I would recommend. This is the stock CPU. Spend $30 on anything aftermarket.
Yeah, get
Yeah.
a better one.
Yeah, because the thing is, these plastic little stanchions, they get squished and they become unreliable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, for sure.
Well, you're almost there. You just had the wrong CPU, and just.
Yeah.
I don't know how good your eyes are, but just pay attention because the CPU has a gold arrow on it, and it's going to fall into a keyed layout.
Oh, okay.
So I noticed right away, I was like, wait a minute, I can't get this key to fit properly.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I've done this enough to where it should just literally fall into place.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So anyway. And unfortunately, we can't test really anything until we get something that fires up.
Yeah.
We do need, I'm pretty sure you can't fire up a power supply. Yeah, the motherboard might actually be bad. You need a working CPU to get it to fire up.
Okay.
So
Makes sense.
your CPU didn't necessarily damage, although it could have short-circuited something also. So I'm just trying to tell you the possibilities. The motherboard might have been damaged by the CPU. The CPU might have also been damaged. We don't know until we get two working compatible parts.
Yeah.
So anytime you do that, make sure you know exactly what generation your CPU is and what generation. Because an i7, it's almost like a V8 is a V8. It's
Yeah.
not necessarily the same V8 that Dodge produced from 40 years ago
Yeah.
as they produce now on the new Charger.
Yeah.
It might be a V8, but it's a totally different thing.
Yeah, it makes sense.
All right. So, unfortunately, that's the best news I have to offer today.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
So. All right. Okay, that's good. Your RAM is back in place. The only thing you need to pay attention to. Oh, yeah. I noticed your power supply is a little loose. So just tighten up your screws, and then if you want help, yeah, move that gold stanchion underneath the motherboard so that it's doing its job, because that also could damage it. That's right.
Yeah.
I noticed some flex. You got some overhang. That's sort of like not having anything holding up a balcony, and the balcony starts to sink or sag. That's also a problem.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Alright, I'm probably gonna make 2 trips.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I could. Yeah, 2 trips is fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to also keep sure. Do not put that back in until you find. You're gonna have to get a kickstand for this video card.
Yeah.
So it also doesn't have the same sort of leaning issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll get that figured out.
Cool.
I'll be right back.
No problem. So there you go. My name is Chris with South Bay Tech Gurus. This is the sort of live content I offer. If you're interested, go ahead and subscribe. Show up in the YouTube chat. Sometimes you guys can answer some of my questions, but unfortunately, this is the first time in a while I have something where I have 2 parts that aren't compatible with each other. We're not even dealing, necessarily speaking, with bad hardware. This is pretty much what I'm up to. If this is the sort of stuff you want, show up in the YouTube chat, or you can give me a call at 855-434-8787. I think this is the only time I'm going live for the day. Otherwise, I'll be back maybe Monday, maybe not. Depends how busy I am. I'm going to be installing a motherboard from a job I did several days ago because I broke the keyboard connector. You can go watch that video here. See ya. I'll probably do that Monday. That's when I'll go live. See ya.